Hello and welcome to the Self-Love Summit. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and with me this segment is Renee Piane. Welcome, Renee.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here spreading more love on your summit.
Thank you.
And I've been tweeting it everywhere and
Yay.
and sending out the love. So thank you for having me on. I'm honored.
Thank you for coming on. We're all excited to see you. Will you please share with us your journey on, it can go back to the crib or wherever you want it to, and also share with us as you get closer to where you are now, or actually you've been doing what you've been doing for a very long time. So talk about your journey and what it is that you do so we can all enjoy it.
Well, it's very interesting because the love journey for all of us, anybody that's out there, it always starts somewhere. And, my own journey, I'm 100% Italian, East Coast girl, very direct. And my journey actually started when I was in grade school. I used to be able to connect with the students that were like a little bit shy, and the nuns used to take me and say, would you help these people get more confident? I'm like, this isn't my job. But I guess my job really did start when I was a young girl. I just had an intuitive sense about people, and I just used to kind of figure out who needed who. So I've actually sort of been a human connector my whole life. And as I grew up, I ended up working in a beauty salon when I was in high school. And when I would touch people's heads, they would open up their whole hearts to me even back then. It was crazy how I would, and I had healing energy, I guess, inborn into me. And as it turns out, my whole family have been healers, which I did not know until probably this last 5 years. So I intuitively had a way of connecting with people and having them open their hearts to me. And then one thing led to another. I became a bridal consultant, and I used to do big cocktail parties back east and for charity events. And I was saying, wow, you need to meet this person, and you need to meet this person. And so I was putting people together. And then I moved out to California when I was 28 years old, and it was very lonely here, very different, because I didn't have my community. So there was a lack of community within the community, and I created Love Works Community Builders projects, which turned into me matching people. But beyond the matching, I started to teach men's classes to men about understanding beautiful women. And it became this, I was doing makeovers for people, right? But what I was finding, it was more about their mind and their heart than it was just the physical part. But the physical, you combine both, and it helped people to do the outside work and the inside work. So I taught at the Learning Annex for 13 years.
Wow.
And I was one of the first dating coaches before coaches were even coaches. And this was 19 years ago. So I've been doing this a long, long time, and what happened for all the ladies out there was I started working personally one-on-one with men, and they would come to the back of the room and say, can you meet me privately? And I'm like, I'll be your coach, right? So love coaching wasn't even in existence. So I started working personally with men, going to their homes, doing love nest makeovers, but what I really got down to was the depth of the lack of training that men have, and the depth of their hearts and how sensitive they were. And I used to be kind of mad at men because there was some cheating in my family. There was infidelity weaved through the generations of my family. I'm sorry, my dog is agreeing in the background here. And so what happened was although I had this gift, I also had my own inner wounds myself. So actually teaching men was a part of the growth of my own healing, by understanding them deeper. And from that understanding and the parties and seeing people in this single status that I saw and working with all the different nationalities, I started to realize there was a pattern in people that was blocking them from finding love, which is why we're here, right? To find love, to express love from our heart. And so as I was healing my own heart, I was healing others. So as you know, you teach best what you need to learn. And so I was learning all these techniques. I became a hypnotherapist. I was in school for psychology. I was researching men. Then I did a television show. Then I got asked to go to do Men Across America. So I was a single girl getting to do sort of like a bachelor show back then. And I interviewed bachelors from all walks of life everywhere. And that is where I got my training. about men. So I became sort of this man expert, was listed in the Wall Street Journal. I wrote my first book called Love Mechanics. And then I became the pioneer with another friend of mine of rapid dating. There was no other speed dating company in the nation. And I was watching people date all over the country and working my butt off. Like all people that are entrepreneurs like myself. So you got to look at the track. I taught men. I wrote a book. I pioneered rapid dating, and I was working with thousands of singles. And that was my studies. I got to work with the people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and 60s. And every single age group dated differently, right?
Right.
And all the generations were all, they had all these screwed up rules. So people are confused. Yes. So I'm here as a Get Real coach and a love designer, and I help people to design plans for them individually to open their hearts, because we all have crust in our little hearts. Mm-hmm. And I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that would come to me, or a matchmaker. I work with matchmakers. I worked with thousands of people, and many of them didn't have an open heart. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're here on the Love Summit. I'm here to help you blast open your heart, get your heart turned back on, and to help all of the people that are watching this to take responsibility that it isn't someone else that's going to give you that. It's you, how you are presenting yourself to the world, how your heart, sends out those vibes. And so I do work personally with people over Skype, all around the world, and I have had thousands and thousands and thousands of success stories in marriages in my life. And I'm married now. I'm happily married, like you. We were here healing people, and then as we healed others, we were healing ourselves. So I basically teach the process of how I opened and healed my mistrust and my infidelity issues in my lineage of 4 generations of women. And I became very strong, so I'm here to sort of dispel some of those myths about love and to give words of wisdom from years and years of experience. So that's why I'm here, and that's just a small story of what I've done. And now I'm just busy, and I'm so happy to be here to maybe.
You are busy.
Yeah, I'm a busy girl. So I'm here to spread more love around the planet internationally. And the cool thing, I just wanted to add, I was nominated this year as one of the top people in the world to help people. So I'm working with other companies internationally now and consulting with their matchmakers and their coaches. And so I really feel blessed that I've been honored with this. And now, bring it on. Let's bring on the love to all the people watching the Love Summit.
I was told by one of our mutual friends that you are like one of the top 3, which is pretty mind-blowing, matchmakers in the world.
Well, it isn't matchmaking, really. I think I'm one of the top 5 dating consultants and love experts in the world at this point. But matchmaking is done in different ways. Like when you look at a typical matchmaker, someone will come and pay 10 grand, and then you get them a bunch of dates. And I worked with a lot of matchmakers that do that. In my personalized service, when people are working with me privately, what happens is I find out so much about their soul, so much about their lifestyle, who they are, what they want, that I often have people that have worked with me or come to my events. And then I have these huge cocktail parties, and I have matched thousands of people. Like, I just have a feeling like it's not just matchmaking for love, it's matchmaking for love and business, because I was, the pioneer of rapid dating and rapid networking, and I speak at all these conferences, and I'll meet somebody and I'll be like, oh, that woman would be perfect for my friend John, right? So I call them up, and actually I wouldn't call myself a matchmaker. I'm more of a human connector, and yes, love results from it. So now, just this year, I started to officially put out a little sign on there that says matchmaker, but it has to be somebody that is really ready. I do not like to take damaged, heartbroken people that think they can go pay somebody 10 grand to fix them, and they're not doing the inner work. So people want to get matched, and you're thinking about using a matchmaker or going online or whatever you're doing. Really, what are you bringing to the table? That's what I help people to do. Right. So when people come to me, I'm the one that gets them prepped for love, to get them really ready and to get rid of some of the pain. And we've all been through stuff. I mean,
Right, we all have it, yeah.
We all have our stuff, but actually, when you think about self-love, my mom always used to say, you need to love yourself before you can find a man. Well, where's the self-love book? There's a lot of books on how to date and flirt and all of that, and I have all that information. But underneath of all that is the heart of the person.
Right.
And one of my best tips is, I have hearts. This is a heart that was given to me by a client from a museum. It has bells in it. It's like, wake up your heart. Hello. How are you treating your own heart every day so that you can really be an expression of real love? Because otherwise you'll keep meeting a damaged person like yourself if your heart isn't really open or healed.
Right.
And sometimes people just numb their heart with new person really quick. Right?
Right. It's all about facing our, as some people call it, our demons, our stories, our history, who we are. Yeah. And as soon as we get past that first bit of ouch, ooh, it hurts, it's so much easier to keep flowing into the healing process.
Most people that I find that come to me, they're busy, super successful people. They've got money, or they couldn't afford me. People will say, well, how can I? People always think of that it's so expensive or whatever to hire someone like you or myself or any of the other experts on this summit. But the real truth is we take your heart and individually work with people. At least I do.
Right.
And when you think about the small fee for learning how to expand your heart, because it takes daily rituals, it takes changing lifestyle, taking a really good microscopic look, not just at love, but all the parts of your life.
Exactly. And that's what's so beautiful about self-love and about doing the work that we do, is because it's not just one teeny area, it's an encompassed soul.
Yeah.
It's an encompassed being. And I do like how you have the connector. What was that term that you were...
myself like the human connector.
Yes, I love that. That's perfect.
And I just have a sense, I meet people sometimes. I met a guy, this is a true story, I met this guy, we were having dinner across the street from where I live in Marina Del Rey, and there was this handsome single guy, 45, he looked depressed, and I came over, and my husband was speaking with him, and I was having an event. And he was super successful, just having dinner alone. Ladies out there, men do go out alone to have dinner almost every night because they're a bachelor or they're having pizza alone at home. So you should start going out after work to dinner because that's where all the men are. There was a whole bar full of these men, and I was thinking, wow, now if I was still single, this is where I would be having dinner, right? So my husband was telling him I was having a party, and he said, oh, those singles things, blah, 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 right? I don't like them. So I said, just come one time. I said, there's so many beautiful women that you could be meeting. And he said, I don't know if I'm ready, blah, blah. He had this big, long story, and I said, well, so what are you going to do? Be having dinner alone for the rest of your life? What is it, $40? Come to a party, right? So he shows up. And he walked in, and he looked really handsome. So I went over, and I said, oh, my God, you're a virgin. And I said, you're a virgin at my party. Right? So I took him to the bar, and I said, I'm going to put you in between two beautiful women at the bar. Well, it turns out the girl that I put him next to, I was thinking would be perfect for him. When they got married, they met that one night. It was a one-time thing for her and for him. They met that night. They were never apart from that day forward, and I went to their wedding. And he said, if she hadn't drugged me to that party... But it wasn't just about that. It was because I could sense that he was a really good person. I did work with him a little bit with his pain. And then I said, just come out, take some risks. And he did. And then said, some people just need a little nudge,
Right.
So if you're one of those people that needs a nudge, I'm a good nudger. I'm like, hey, get out there. You got to do this. And people that are hurt don't like to do that. But the amazing thing, Mia, is that I think that people get hurt once or twice, and then the walls get so thick that they start to doubt themselves. And it really is all about really seeing what a gift you are to someone. And if you don't treat your heart that way and don't treat yourself the way you would want to be treated, then how do you expect anybody to love you?
Exactly. That's beautiful. You also have I think we were talking that you have a program specifically for self-love. I know that it's what you're doing now, but do you want to talk about like my program is 6 weeks and I have a 3-month. So do you want to talk about what yours entails?
Absolutely. For single women, it's called Get Ready for Love, but it's Get Real and Get Ready for Love. So it's to make them. It's a 6-week process, and then I have a man panel at the end. And what has been happening is that the women get so into it because they have a support system. They have a workbook. That's my new book called Get Real About Love, and it helps you to really look at each part of your life, and it breaks the steps down for somebody who is really looking to get real with their heart. And it's really exactly what you're doing. It's a step-by-step getting real until I make everybody buy a heart and work with their own heart. So it isn't about going out and getting a guy or a girl. And I do this for men also. And it's also taking a look at every area of their life. And it just is mind-blowing. I mean, the girls that have taken it, they don't want to end. The classes never end. My husband will come home and he's like, okay, it's time for people to go home. And I'm like, they're like, no, one more ritual. So I teach them the steps and the rituals that I did on my own heart. And some of them are things that people go, well, gosh, that's easy to do. But people don't have the time. So when
they don't make the time.
They don't make the time. So one of my biggest themes is take time for love, in the book, and get real about what you're doing, because it's not like I can sprinkle fairy dust on you and make it happen. It's you out there making it happen, and sometimes you just need a guide to help you. So you've been doing that, and I'm sure a lot of the other wonderful coaches, and we all have our own style. I'm very direct, I'm Italian, so when people come to me, I'm like, I'm not here to keep you entrenched in a program forever. I'm here to help just spark your heart and then send you out there, and I'll be here. And then some people come for continued coaching, and it's just been magical. And I have so many weddings I went to this year of women that said, I'm done, I'm just done, or men that had given up. But men are so much more private about matters of their heart. And I've done so much work with men before this. I have a book for men called Love Mechanics. And that is a heart crack open for men. And then I do men like to be personal because they don't want anybody to know that they have a problem, right? And I'm like, well, call me, because I'll give it to you straight from a woman's perspective. So there's a lot of programs for men out there also that teach them how to score and how to get laid and all that. That's not really what love is.
Right, exactly.
That's not what self-love is. That's numbing their pain by landing a girl on date number 1. And there's a lot of teachers out there that are teaching things to men, and the women are so mad at them.
Well, sure. So, as they should be.
Yeah, well, they're disappointed. So they get mad. But there's a lot of great men out there, ladies, and people are waking up worldwide. The whole world is uniting in this theme of self-love, but here we are teaching it. That's what we're doing. That's what my whole life is. I mean, this is what I do all day long.
I'm not sure if you saw anything that I've posted anywhere about this one specific thing, but about 40% of the people that sign up for the Love Summit are men.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Isn't that impressive? I'm just tickled pink.
Well, all the men out there, all of you heart-centered men, there are millions and millions of women out there looking for you. Believe me, because I have them all in my group, I work with, and men go, I want somebody successful. I want this. She's got to be this. She's got to be that. And I'm always asking, and this is one of the big keys to this, is are you really, if you looked at yourself today, would you say, wow, I would have married me? I would love to marry me because I'm so great, right? And, I see people every day at the gym. I don't know about you when you go to work out. I see men and women, they're looking at themselves, and I can hear what they're thinking. Like, who's going to want me? I got to lose 5 pounds, or I got to do this, or I got to do that. And they have this syndrome that I call the one-size syndrome. And this is one of my keys, why are you waiting for everything to be perfect? It isn't about that. It's how you're expressing and feeling about yourself. You can have somebody love you the way you are right now, but it's the way you feel about you.
Right, the way you project yourself, exactly. Yeah. And you can actually, come to think of it, let's think about this for a second. You can spot those people in the gym, not just because you can hear them, but you can see the way they're facing the world, the way that they're exercising. Yes. People who have joy and have a little bit of a spunk and an attitude, they're the ones that, Even if they're at the gym, maybe not as fit as somebody else, but yet they're enjoying it. You know that they're rocking their own being, that they just are loving. And those are the ones that are the cool ones that know about self-love. It doesn't have to be. It can be the perfectly toned man or woman, but it's also other people who are not quite as fit. But what we're saying is to look at the whole being of somebody else as you would yourself. How do you want to see somebody? It's how you should express yourself. If you would like to see somebody happy and joyous and wow with confidence, then that's what you need to gain, and you need to find those tools to do so.
Well, you know, we live in LA, and this is the land of beautiful people. And when people come here, a lot of people send people to me because they don't know where to go out. They don't know how to get connected in the community. And it is a lonely place. And a lot of cities are like that. And now that everyone's online and they're disconnected, they aren't connecting. You know, they're doing Match.com. They're on all the Plenty of Fish, and they're looking at people. They're home alone with their mouses instead of going out and finding people, or they're on their phone. I don't know about you, but when I go out, everybody is on their phone. Nobody is looking at anybody. And I teach flirting classes. My flirting classes rock, by the way. I'm going to be having one coming up. I have them like once every 6 to 8 weeks, and vision board classes and all sorts of fun things. But it's really about being like going out with that I'm open energy. And a lot of people are like, ugh, I'm so done. I'm so done. And I'm like, done? There's so many amazing people to meet, but the pictures that people have in their mind of what they want and what they're actually sending, message-wise, is completely not the same. Right. And that's why people aren't understanding that they have, in my work, it's parts. I'm also an NLP practitioner, and they haven't integrated their parts. They have the part that believes and the part that doesn't believe, right? And they're battling it with each other because they're using the excuses on one hand or their fear. Exactly. And then the other side's like, no, but I want love. And then you meet somebody, oh, he's not good enough for me. And oh, she's not this. And you're battling between yourself, right? So once you're so clear about everything, and you shouldn't have this perfect, I mean, I do tell people to really realign and look at what their vision would be. But it's a life. It's a lifestyle. When I manifested my husband, actually it's going to be 11 years that I met him this Saturday. Wow. The day we met, and we celebrate the day we met and the day we got married. It was because I had done all this work and healed all the old angers and disappointments and the crazy men that I dated, and the fact that, and I had really done all the work that I teach. So I come from a place of, hey, I did it. This is what I did. And I don't want people to waste time. I think people waste a lot of time angsting over the mistakes that they've made rather than learning and really growing from them and saying, wow, I had a lot of fun and I did some stupid stuff with my heart. Yeah, beat it up a little bit, or I wasn't listening. Most of us, I think, if you get real with yourself, you weren't listening. You knew. If somebody's watching my eyes right now, look into yourself and say, I knew that I should not have dated Marianne. She was not nice to me, but I stayed because my little boy wanted her to love me. And then, or women stay with men. We have these patterns, and it's unbelievable the stuff that keeps us stuck from loving ourselves.
Right. And we can't truly find that person until we find ourselves.
Yes. And, everybody's, well, how do you do it? It does take time. It takes time to do reflection each day, and writing and reflection and really going, wow, this is my life. And, recently I would like to bring this up because it's important. In my new book, Get Real About Love, which will be coming out anytime, I wrote a lot of stories about people, especially my women clients, who always are, they always have some project. Men have it too. Once I get my business together, and in this time, in this economy, right, a lot of my clients who had it all, they had the big houses and the condos and the cars and all this stuff from all over the world. I worked with a guy over in Algeria, rich Muslim guy, who, was being fixed up with people. There's people everywhere. And then suddenly you lose your job, right? And then you value everything based on money and your boat and your this and your car. And banker girlfriends of mine lost their jobs. They had to downsize. And then they had to go, wow, what's most important to me? It's not just all the exterior stuff, right? Then when they got some of that stuff taken away, or a health issue, right? Your health goes bad. You get a dis-ease, or the C word. I don't even like to bring it up. My best friend, her name was Rhonda Britton. We were single together. We both had the same love patterns of dating unavailable men, right? Because we were busy. We were like, talk to the hand once I finish this. She was a news reporter for CNN, and I was doing my thing with rapid dating, going all over, and she got cancer, and she had 2 months to live. And she called me, and she goes, you're not going to believe this, but I have stage 4 cancer, and I have 2 months to live. And I was like, what? So she came and stayed with me. This was 6 years ago. She just had her anniversary. And she said, you tell every person out there that life is like this short. And if I had it to do again, I would not have stayed alone. She did not have a man in her life when she died. I was there with her. It was very sad. And she said, please let everyone know, your life is like a minute. Like, take each moment and stop angsting over the past things that stopped you, or the goal that you're having that you think you have to reach before you can have it, and just go for it, because your life is happening now. And then this past year, I ended up getting a tumor in my artery of my left arm, which was very serious. And it was like one of those wake-up calls, right? So don't let yourself wait to have a wake-up call before you go and get out there and do something. And this one on me, I had to cut my artery out. My hand didn't work, and I got really sick from it. And it was like, wow, in 1 minute, your life can change, right? So I used all the principles that I do with healing to look at that situation as an opportunity to use my principles of how I was going to connect with doctors. I dated my surgeons. I did things that I teach people to do in dating for myself. And it was really interesting how asking for what I wanted worked, how being calm and collected that I was going to heal properly and be led to the right people, just like you would do if you had been hurt from a man or a woman in your past. And then you think, okay, this time I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to see if the person is really who they say they are before I trust them with my heart, right? I did the same thing with doctors. I said, we're on a date right now. Have you done this kind of surgery before? And their face, I would watch their body language and their face and everything, and it was so amazing. And then I would just project that everything was going to work out fine, just like everyone out there needs to do. But the point of it is that your life can make a switch in 1 second. So don't wait for something to achieve this certain status or money or wealth in your business, to do the work on yourself, because the way you are in your whirling business, it's like a loop that you keep doing. Well, once I do this, I'll get this. And once I do this, I'll get this. You stay in like a loop of unhappiness. So wake up and use your life each day and like look around. If you're American, we live in America. We have the freedom to do what we want. You go over in other countries, the women have to cover their whole bodies and their whole faces. They can't even have a man look at them, and we're worried about a wart on the bottom of our chin or a little pimple. It's crazy. It's just crazy,
Yeah.
And, now that I'm working internationally and working with a lot of people from other countries, we don't realize how lucky we really are and how blessed we are to have the freedom to choose love in any way and design our life the way you want it, however you want. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to do the typical all-American 2.5 children in the picket fence thing. You can do it the way I did it. I designed my life the way I wanted it.
Exactly.
And I know, Mia, you did the same thing.
I did.
You did your inner work. You manifested an amazing partner, and now you're living the life of your design. So that's why I help people to design their unique situation. It's not the same as your grandmother, your mom, your aunts, your cousins. Hey, mine were all divorced. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it the right choice at the right time, and I did that, and it's a magnificent life. I have a magnificent life, and I want to share that with everybody so they don't do what I did or you did, wasting time.
I really like the how you brought in about we're so blessed in this country.
Yeah.
There are also about 15%, maybe 20% of the viewers are international. So I can see all the people who have, the tracking of who they've come in and all that. And it's very wonderful. I just wanted to say that honor who we are in every place that we are. I was dating this Egyptian doctor about 3-4 years ago, and he was Muslim, and he wanted me to go back with him to, he was living in Saudi Arabia. And so I was getting my headgear together in order to be presentable, and he said, "No, you're American. You don't have to do that." And I said, "Really? Are you serious?" And he said, "No, I'm proud of who you are." And I thought, well, that's beautiful. Thank you. And it was lovely. It was lovely.
You know how they date there? A lot of the guy that, this is a true story, and you can hear it if you go to my radio show, you can hear the story of the man that was going to commit suicide because his parents were forcing him to marry a woman in Jordan. So his uncle offered him a job in Algeria. He took off to Algeria, and then when he went there, he didn't know anyone. And the way they date is the families meet the families, and then you meet, and then the two families decide that you're going to get married, right? And you're like, holy crap, I got to marry someone, right? So he gets a hold of me and says, "I'm getting ready to kill myself. Can you please help me?" So imagine, you wake up with your cup of coffee, right? And I look on my email, and it's a suicide note from someone that found me on the internet. So I helped him to really get clear about who he was. He did a vision. I mean, it was just it's an amazing, amazing story. But he ended up losing 50 pounds. He moved closer to town. He ended up getting fixed up with a girl because he went to his best friend's wedding. And he said and he had the freedom. He had 6 dates from speaking. And this is one of the tips. Speak who you are. I'm looking for a divine mate. He said to all these women at this wedding, "I'm now ready for a wife. And if you have any nieces or daughters, I would love to meet them." To all the women over there, the Muslim aunts and cousins of the bride, right? He got 6 dates in a week and ended up meeting his wife. And then his parents flew over, and they have to do like a whole official, it's a very serious thing over there. And I have all the videos of him and his father saying, "Are you the woman that told Muhammad to move away?" And I was like, I thought he was going to shoot me over the internet, right? So I am supposed to go to the wedding, but I'm not sure with all the craziness in the world right now whether I would do that or not. But he said, "Come." They do suggest that sometimes you cover up because Americans do stand out, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult.
Right.
But what a love story. I mean, the love stories, people create their own love story.
Yeah. And you know what you can do? You can do a beautiful video footage for them, and they can play it at the wedding.
Ah, that's a good idea. Good idea. I think I'm going to do that.
Yes, exactly.
She likes the girl, but she's not at the same socioeconomic level. And so the parents were worried that, the grandchildren would be brought up with poorer people than them. And I said, "Listen, he loves her, give him a permission slip just to have some fun in his life and marry somebody that he loves." But the interesting thing is she was all covered up, right? So he would call me and he says, "I do not know if she is fat," right? "I do not know, Renee, if she has a big butt." That's what he would say. "I do not want a wife, and she's covered up with the burqa, so I cannot tell," right? So the first time he met her family, he calls me the next day, and he says, at home, she's allowed not to wear her covering, right? And he had done a vision board of this woman, and this girl looked exactly like the woman that he put in his vision board. So he writes and says, "Holy crap, she looks like a Victoria's Secret model." He took a picture, and she had a dress and high heels and her hair, and he was so happy, but he fell in love with her before he saw all of that. So he fell in love with her soul. She fell in love with his soul. He had been feeling so damaged inside about himself, got to know who he was and how much he had to give to her and how much he had to offer. And that's really what we're doing. We're offering our lives, our lifestyles, our families to each other.
Our big beds.
You got to marry somebody's family. People jump in and get married. They don't even know the other person's family. I'm like, talk to the family first, And I come from an amazing Italian family that are in your face. So any guy that was with me, my fathers and brothers, are you sleeping with my sister?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw you in the river. It was very like Guido Italian, and I was like, oh my God, these men would all run. I said, if you're going to marry me, you got to understand you marry the family, right?
Exactly. That's so funny. Well, you won't believe this, but we're almost out of time. It just flies by. Yes. Would you share with us, please, the free gift that you're so generously offering everybody? And it's a beautiful one.
Oh, thank you. People can go right to reneepiane.com. There's a link, I guess, that you'll be providing, and there's you can fill a form in, and it'll send you a free audio of the 5 Secrets to Manifest Love for men and for women, and it has a meditation prayer at the end. And also, if people are interested, they can call me for a free 15-20-minute consultation to see how I might be able to help them and give them some tips. People call me sometimes and they say, God, you told me one thing and it changed my life. So I'd be happy to find out what's going on with that heart of yours and see if I can offer you some love tips for your heart so that you can open your heart to love. And I would love, I'm so happy. I know I was going off on all different stories.
No, it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
Stories, I love to tell stories.
Me too.
Stories really bring people into the moment, and my goal is to help you, whoever you are, to create your new love story by getting in touch with your beautiful heart. And if I can be of assistance, that's what my life is about. I've dedicated my life to it, and now that I have sacred love, I am so impassioned to share how I achieve that goal. So that's why I'm here, and thank you for being here, Mia, and doing this, because this is a lot of, and nobody has any idea how much love and passion the Passion Muse is using to bring this to the world. So thank you for including me.
Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure, and it's been fun listening to your stories, but also chatting back and forth. And I'm a storyteller too, so it's really amazing that it's good to be with the storyteller, because otherwise sometimes I feel like I'm taking over. When I edit the footage, I'm like, oh God, shut up, Mia. Except for that, as a self-love teacher, I love to share with you viewers what life can be like. So this is really beautiful. Also, when you do contact Renee, please remind her that you saw her on the Self-Love Summit, because it'll give her an extra smile.
Well, that's what, all of us that are on this summit, I'm sure, have a passion for love. And,
they do.
And, I can't say, like, people, I always tell people, and this will be my last little tip, when you see a couple or a person that has that spark, or go up to them and say, how did you find your husband, or how did you find your mate? Because people love their love. I can guarantee you they're going to say, well, I did some work on myself, and then I prepared myself, and oh my God, it was like magic, it showed up. Mm-hmm. And whenever I saw couples, and I would ask, and then I asked God or the universe, I said, the man that you send me has to love people the way that I do, so that when people see us together, and I'm sure that this is how it is with your husband, Mia, that they go, wow, who are those people? Because my husband and I are dedicated to spreading love on the planet, and he does it in his way, and I do it in mine. And you need to know who you are, so that when you meet your match, that you together bring that message to the world. And,
yes.
And I pray for all of you that you can find that, and it does take that inner heart work, so that you're really ready to receive. Because some people say, oh, I'm ready. But they're ready sometimes to give, but not to allow it to come to them.
Right.
And that does take work, because when you're an A-type busy person, you're always doing, and not slowing down to take the time to reflect on, really allowing love to come, because it does come, and when it does, it's like, whoa, yeah. Oh my God, it's here, it's here. So I see the spark in Mia now that she's got this divine husband of hers, and it really is a magical thing when it happens, right?
It really is, and it's amazing, because people do come up to us and say, That's really beautiful. I wish, my daughter had that, or I had that, or, it's lovely. It truly is.
And I'm sure that anybody that is listening to this that has kind of something going on that isn't happening in their love life, you can reignite that. And that's why the Passion Muse is here. That's what she does, to reignite that passion. But it still all comes down to the bottom line.
It does.
Love, right?
It does. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Renee.
And I am so blessed in this life. And I got to tell you, I live each moment like it could be my last. And I'm glad that I get to share my little story with you. I know it may not have dealt with dating and love, but it is really true. So, everyone out there, just know that life is so precious and each moment is so amazing, just to take that time to really do the reflection on your heart so that you can pull in and magnetize your heart's desire. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Renee, for joining us. And thank you all for watching this, and you can see it in the archives again and enjoy it once more. We'll see you all in the next segment. Thank you.